Meantime, President Trump urging the Supreme Court to make a quick decision on whether or not he can impose his sweeping tariffs under federal emergency law after a federal appeals court ruled them illegal. The Trump team writing in their appeal, quote, "The tariffs are promoting peace and unprecedented economic prosperity, and that the denial of tariff authority would expose our nation to trade retaliation without effective defenses and thrust America back to the brink of economic catastrophe." The president says the stakes couldn't be any higher.
If we didn't have tariffs, we would be a very poor nation, and we would be taken advantage of by every other nation in the world, friend and foe. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Associate White House counsel Graziella Pastor joins me now to discuss. Welcome to the program, Graziella. The federal appeals court said that tariffs need to come from Congress and not the president. What's your rebuttal to that argument?
It's been a busy week for the White House counsel's office and the Department of Justice with a series of appeals. But our argument here is that under the IEEPA law, it gives the president the power to regulate foreign imports during times of emergency. And we have $1 trillion deficit here and a number of different economic circumstances that led to an economic emergency. And the president determined that. And that's why we believe that the Supreme Court is really going to have to come in here and make a determination as to whether or not the IEEPA authority does give the president this power, because the president says it does, and Congress gave him the discretion to make that determination. So we'll see now what the Supreme Court does here.
Okay, but what is the president's backup plan if he gets an adverse ruling at the Supreme Court?
Obviously, we're hopeful that under the IEEPA law, which we've properly interpreted to give the president that discretion, there's a series of laws that we're looking at, and we're going to be evaluating all the lawful methods for achieving the results that President Trump is seeking for the American people. The attorneys are working around the clock on this issue. Would
we have to pay back the tariffs already collected if we lose, or if Trump loses at the Supreme Court?
I mean, the economic circumstances that you're bringing up would be catastrophic, and that is the argument that we've made in the appeal. This is a huge deal. You know, the president made this decision to address the national economic emergency that we're experiencing. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but we'll see what the Supreme Court decides.
We will be watching. To your point, Graziella, this could be huge. I mean, this is a major economic case that could be before the Supreme Court sooner rather than later. It's going to be interesting and fascinating to see how they come down. Meantime, in a separate appeal, you mentioned you guys have a busy week there. President Trump pushing back on a judge's ruling that his use of the National Guard in Los Angeles was illegal. What is your argument in that appeal, Graziella?
So earlier this week, a lower court judge essentially ruled that it's illegal for President Trump to protect Americans. But President Trump's decision to send the National Guard to Los Angeles was both necessary and lawful. And here are the facts. ICE was sent to conduct deportation operations in Los Angeles a few months ago when violent protesters showed up to stop them. These protesters threw concrete bricks, Molotov cocktails, and rocks at our officers. They also set cars on fire, shattered a CBP officer's wrist, and detained an ICE official in a car and threw stones at it. The National Guard was absolutely necessary to protect our federal troops, but a single judge disagreed. Ultimately, the judge here is fundamentally wrong on the law, and his decision endangers American lives.
Yeah, the president said yesterday, obviously talking about Chicago, then mentioning New Orleans as a possible place he could send the Guard next. New Orleans has a Republican governor, presumably, as the president said, would be more receptive to sending the Guard there. But regardless of whether it's Chicago or New Orleans, are you concerned that this current decision that you're appealing could stifle efforts to send the Guard into these cities?
This decision in particular is flawed, right? So the judge introduced the idea of posse comitatus being violated, but that's a criminal statute that says that federal troops can't engage in local policing or federal or law enforcement activity. But President Trump specifically sent the National Guard in this case to protect our federal troops and our federal officers. So posse comitatus doesn't even apply. And separately, Congress passed a law that authorizes the president to send the National Guard when local police forces are not sufficient to execute federal law. And the Ninth Circuit already overruled this exact judge on this exact issue just a few months ago. But this judge is looking to lose twice in just a few months. So we're not worried here.
Yeah, I know I'm a reformed lawyer, haven't practiced since 2008, but I would agree on your interpretation of this. National Guard was there as bodyguards. They were not enforcing California law. So I think you should win on this, but we will see. Graziella Pastor, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.